On the floating shipless oceans, I did all my best to smile till your singing eyes and fingers drew me laughing to your eyes.
Well, in June of 1943, I was graduating from high school in Rochester, New York, and I had taken a test with the Army to see if I could join the Army Specialized Training Program, and I passed the test, and so they accepted me, and I went down and enlisted in the Army. Because I was 17, I couldn't go on active duty right away, so they sent me to college for one semester, and then at the end of that, I had turned 18, so that's when I went on active duty.
I was born in Antwerp, Belgium in 1936, and had to leave in May of 1940 because of Germany invading my country on May the 10th, 1940. But I do remember one incident where my mother picked me up and threw me into a ditch and covered me with her body as the German planes were flying overhead and shooting at us. I do remember that.
I was born in 1929 in Bremen, Germany. Kristallnacht, crystal night, I guess. I personally saw that in this one town when we were traveling through. We could see the fire. We went through a town, Bamberg, and they had just destroying all the windows in the Jewish establishments.
You know, they took us to a camp, an internment camp, a prison camp.
And Joe whispered back to us as we lay there, "We'll wait till it gets dark, and then we'll get up and get out." And just as the fellow started firing, I felt some pressure on the back of my head. And there was no one around. I couldn't understand it, but my face was pushed down another inch or so in the snow. And immediately a bullet went through my helmet, went in the front, up above my forehead, and out the back, but it didn't graze my skin. Well, at that point, after that first burst, Joe pulled out his white handkerchief and waved it because it was evident that we were all going to be killed in another minute when the big guns across the valley opened up. So he surrendered the patrol.
Ray's mother and father came over to our house to give us very sad news that their only child was missing in action. And that made us all very, very sad. And they didn't stay very long, just long enough pretty much to tell us that. And afterwards, of course, there were lots of tears from all of us. I'm good tearing now. But anyway, but even to reminisce, it's a very teary time. Because when you love someone, and then your love grows tremendously, and it changes and so on, and it has a greater depth, the tears still come.
Must have been 10 or 12 years old. You have to join the Hitler Youth. At that time was, more or less you could compare it to the Boy Scouts here. One of the headmasters, he was a member of the Nazi Party, and so we still had talks and indoctrinated, kind of.
My brother Sammy, he escaped from the camp at 16 years old and went back to the camp with a document from that French official authorizing the commander of the camp to release his family.
And then I looked at the top of the train, which I could see as we walked toward it, and it was not marked POW for prisoner of war, which was supposed to be the case if they transported people. But they put us on board anyway. The second or third day that we were in the train, we heard aircraft. And it turned out to be 4 American aircraft, fighter bombers that were flying in over the area. And sure enough, they started to fire at the train that we were in. And they hit a car here and a car here and another one there and another one down there. And my car did not get hit. And the planes circled around then and came back, and they repeated that run. And the second time, my car did not get hit, but plenty of others did. And they were just circling to make a third run when all of a sudden the railroad car slid open, which amazed us because we'd seen the guards run away. But there was another prisoner standing there, and he said, "Get out fast and take off your shirts." And we all went out in the field, and like we had rehearsed it, which we had not or even talked about it, we all pulled off our shirts so our bare backs showed, and we lay down on the grass and we spelled out the great giant letters POW with our bare backs up. And of course the planes saw that when they came on the third run, and they didn't fire anymore. About a week later, we were in a little town and we heard tanks and got out and looked and found out that they were American tanks, and it was outside the city of Gießen. The mayor had surrendered the town. He didn't want it destroyed, and he had big white sheets hanging out of the church steeples. So there was no gunfire, and before long we were back in Allied hands, and that was a great day to celebrate.
If it weren't for the Americans, we would be all under the Nazi web. So I'm grateful for all of them. When I lived in Switzerland with my foster family, one day my foster mother asked me whether I wanted to plant a sunflower. Weeks later on, I get up in the morning and I see that sunflower almost as about 10 feet tall. I wish I had taken a picture of it, but the picture is in my mind, and it always will be in my mind. That was an important moment for me. It felt like I was crossing the bridge from despair to hope. It really meant a lot to me, and that's why you see we have sunflowers in this house.